Welcome to the end of the world! Okay, it's the end of 2012, but according to hipster researchers, it is close to the Mayan calendar apocalypse. And to prepare you for this catastrophic inevitability, I give you my CTN Animation Expo 2012 review. So you should watch it, because it'll help you survive the apocalypse. Okay, so last year, 2011, I did a recap of the CTN Animation Expo, and I was just blabbing away, talking about, you know, how inspired I was and all that stuff. But this time, I got a lot of really great footage. I'm just gonna let the footage speak for itself. You know, you don't need me talking over it. Plus, I got work to do. So, you know, just enjoy, all right?
We're at the Toon Boom booth. We got John Kay doing Storyboard Pro, and we got Michelle Gagne doing, I guess it's Studio, Toon Boom Studio. John Kay. Michelle Gagne.
Nobody uses the drawing.
Wait. I'm sorry. I told you I wasn't going to be blabbing over it, but I have to give you a little bit of context here. Because without context, it might seem as though you could just walk down any hallway and see two legends sitting next to each other, animating, you know, displaying their craft. It can't be that easy, can it? Yes, it can. Because that's the whole point of the CTN Animation Expo. No kidding. I mean, this is a place where you could be walking from one of your panels to the next panel and just run into one of your idols. So there was this one time when, you know what? Let's take this to the big blue chair. Okay, and we're back. Okay, so last year I did a recap, and I did give some tips, but I want to focus more on the tips this year. So before we go on with the recap video, I want to recap the tips that I gave you last year. They go something like this. Number 1 was get there early. Number 2 was to absorb stories. Number 3 was know the schedule, very important. Number 4 was to book at the Marriott, book at that actual hotel where the convention center is. And number 5 was to relax. Simple. So following my own tips, this year I got there early. Inside the convention hall, they're setting up the tables and getting ready for the exhibitors. The attendees are in the lobby of the hotel. They're showing each other their animation reel. And a lot of these people have known each other on Twitter or on Facebook, and they're just seeing each other face to face. And, you know, some people who haven't been there in the past are talking to people who have been there and getting a lot of good information. So this actually brings us to the first tip of this review pretty quickly, because you should go to that website as soon as possible. Like, look at the schedule, look at all the people who are going to be there, not just the speakers or the panels, but the people who are going to be at the tables. It's got all the information up there on the website, like who's going to give the opening talk. And this year, it was Brenda Chapman. She gave a really great talk and set the stage for the tone of the rest of the expo. You know, it was very open. She talked about her experience at Disney. She talked about her experience on Brave, you know, where she's going now. And her fans, you know, they lined up and told her really touching stories about themselves and how she has helped them and how open she's been being. And then you walk out to the convention center and Glen Keane is doing his animation demo. And that was packed. I mean, absolutely packed to the brim full of people. I mean, you were shoulder to shoulder. And he was doing a shot of Ariel swimming around and kind of describing how he was working with her hair. I just want to clarify, you don't have to pay extra for that. You don't have to get some sort of special pass for it. Brenda Chapman's just sitting out there talking to people. Just wait in line and talk to her. Glen Keane is just doing his animation. You might have to be a little quick if you want to get up to the front. So this also kind of brings up something about a tip that I gave you last year about relaxing, because you'll see people there that are kind of treating the CTN Expo as almost like a safari. Like, like they're going around on a car or something, and they're, oh, there's Glen Keane, there's Brenda Chapman, you know, but they don't want to get out of the car. They don't want to go over there because they're afraid of being mauled to death, jungle style. It's much more like a petting zoo or a dog park, or maybe this analogy doesn't work perfectly, but my point is that it's much more accessible than you might think, you know? Just go up and talk to people. Tell them if something means something to you, if their work means something to you, tell them about it. Just don't make a religion out of it. It creeps people out. And I mean, it's fun. You know, you got demos, you got the Wacom tablets there. They had a Fix-It Felix Jr. arcade game there, which I was on all the time, and it was awesome.
This is the part of the recap where I kicked Ezra's ass in Fix-It Felix. No way. Junior. Awesome. Look, I just got my medal.
My initials. I'm on the high scoreboard.
Suck it, everybody. Yeah. High score!
score. That night was the Andreas Deja panel. He was going over some shots from that Johnny Appleseed short, the Disney short, which I had not thought about in years. I had the VHS here someplace. So this is where we start to get in like the really cool stuff, you know, the stuff that I kind of get fascinated with. He showed this clip of the Spirit is talking to Johnny Appleseed, and he grabs his sleeve and he doesn't pull it up this way. He lets the wrist do the leading, and then the hand follows and he pulls it up this way. You get little nuggets of information like this. So I guess this would be a good place to give you tip number 2, which is you should really carry a notebook. You can't record in the panels, but you can take notes and you can draw. And a lot of people had sketchbooks there, and they were drawing some of the things that they had seen and were inspired by. Almost like taking a picture, but, you know, a mental picture. And of course, last year we had a special guest, and this year the special guest was Lisa Davis, who did the voice for Anita in 101 Dalmatians, and she was talking about how she knew Walt Disney and gave some stories about the background of how she came in there and some of the live ref that she did, and it was really special, just once-in-a-lifetime stuff. That night there was a party that was hosted by Animation Mentor. That was cool, but I wanted to get some sleep to prepare myself for the next day, because the next day was Saturday, and Saturday is crazy! So it's a 3-day expo, right? But some people buy 1 day, and that day is Saturday. So it's like double the amount of people that were there on Friday are there on Saturday. So if you want to wander in like the way you did it on Friday, not gonna happen. This brings me to my 3rd tip, which is make a schedule. Last year I told you to know the schedule, which is good and important, but this year I'm telling you, make a schedule, okay? Be prepared. And this year, they rolled out something that is super useful, an app. You go to the App Store, you search for guidebook, download that. Then once you have the guidebook, you do a search for CTN, and it just pops up. Download that guide, and you can just scroll through and check out all the stuff that they have going on, what times, the details of what it is, and you can set up even reminders for yourself. So you should be prepared. Make a schedule. Not to be blasting through the tips here, but I got another tip for you. If you can afford it, getting a VIP pass. Why, you ask? We had Andreas Deja and Glen Keane this year. Glen Keane was on Saturday, and holy cow, look at the line for Glen Keane. And this is the line for the Fast Pass. Okay, so let me explain something. It's just like Disney World, right? Fast Pass gets in first. Once the Fast Pass line is done, then the regular line gets to go in. So the way it worked this year is you got 1 Fast Pass per day, and you could use that Fast Pass for any panel, right? But you had to get it every morning. Some people woke up really early to get a Fast Pass on Saturday to see Glen Keane's panel. But a VIP is automatically Fast Pass for every line. It virtually guarantees that you can get into any panel that you want to get into. So let's go back to the Glen Keane panel for a second. It was introed by Ryan Woodward, and this panel was the big one for me this year. You know, last year was the Deja Vu panel with Richard Sherman and everything. This year it was Glen's panel. It was a conversation. It was almost like him at a computer just saying, "Here's some stuff. Look at this. Look at look at these pictures. Look at these videos," and trying to get you into that playful mindset of like playing in your drawings, being childlike. Someone asked this question about his legacy, and I guess there's always this question in these panels where it's awkwardly worded that could come off as insulting if you read it that way, and it was like something about how the legacy that he was leaving behind, so forth and so on. It was supposed to be about how great he was, but it did sound a little bit like almost like an obituary, which got a laugh out of everybody because he said, you know, I'm still around. I think the thing that I took away from that question or that exchange was that he was saying that, you know, I'm treated like a legend here. You know, he's at the CTN Expo. It's an animation expo. Of course he's treated like a legend, but he's going to go home. He's just going to be Glen. He is a guy. He's a man. He's very good at what he does. So when he talks about, this is the way that I look at life, and this is the lens that I look through, and this is how I kind of approach my art, it should be as down to earth as that.
They're so excited to have you here. regular old Glen.
Or Baba, or whatever. What's your granddaughter call you?
Bebop. Bebop. But it started, she called me Bebop because there's a picture of me next to the Beast. And so she would call me Beast. And then she started saying Papa because she was learning French. So she called me Beast, Beast Pop, Baba. Just turned into Bebop. That's cool. It's been a great day.
Last year I given you a tip to relax, and I think I'm just going to put a little asterisk there and just say, be yourself. Because that's the other part of it. You should just be yourself. Saturday night was another dance party. And there you can see people being themselves. I am not a dance party person. And clearly neither is my friend Christopher. But everybody's having fun, including us old geezers looking at them like the townsfolk in Footloose. Animators dancing. It's fun for the dancers and fun for the viewers. And now we come up on Sunday, which is much more chill, much more easy and relaxed.
I have to teach you something, okay?
Yeah.
So when you pick something up, you pick it up with your like this. Okay? That's very important at every table. So it can just dissolve into your hand. People don't look at your thumb. Okay? It's very important. That's what we learned to do.
So you're a magician.
And then you, and then see while she's distracted, I've already stolen this. So that is stealing at the CTN. Thank you.
The views of this individual do not represent the views of Rubber Onion.
And that's it. And no cut.
Nope. No, now I do an uncomfortable zoom in.
Oh, look at this, see?
And then your nose, and then your chin.
No, see?
And now we're done.
Which brings me to my next and final tip. Bring cash. Cash money. You're probably going to want to buy a lot of stuff when you're there. Books. I can tell you one thing. Stewarding books is going to be packed. It's going to be flooded. Look at all the books that they have. And of course, these are books that you can't get a lot of places. So here's kind of my extra little mini tip under that, which is buy your stuff on Friday and on Sunday. Don't, unless you're going there for only one day, don't really buy stuff on Saturday. It's really crowded. And anyway, at the very least, you can go around, you can talk to everybody. Everybody's super chill.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing pretty good?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really, really tired.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
Not kidding. Not all, I can tell.
Jason Hand of Disney Toon Studios.
Hi. I'm comparing your facial hair.
Okay.
So which one? I should have a vote, like a
Online.
Yeah, online. Which one? Which
Goatee or the full beard?
Uh-huh.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, which one works?
Whichever one wins, we'll both do. So you'll have to take it up with our wives.
Sure.
I went to the Cartoon Brew booth and talked to Jerry Beck and Mark Kausler, and the video is right there. I talked to Rich Ahrens, who's a producer on Animaniacs, Michelle Gagne at the Toon Boom booth, again, video, you can check it out. Nice chat with J. Scott Campbell. So everyone's really cool. There's a strange stereotype that's out there about artists and, you know, artists are weird or pretentious or something. Maybe that just kind of skipped over animation and comic books and character design and traditional Japanese block art making. Because all this stuff is there and everybody's super cool. There's not a lot of egos there. And I would like to say that it's just animation, but it may just be the atmosphere. It may be how it's set up, you know? It is very communal. As you're walking down the hallway, there's paints that are set up that you can mix and kind of play with, and there's a traditional animation table that's set up that people are demoing their stuff. And there's a Wacom station that's they're demoing their digital stuff. Then there's the live models, those great live models that were there that last year, and people are sketching on their own. The biggest thing that's there at the Expo is essentially, if you've been to Comic-Con, a giant artist alley. And I mean, if you've ever gone to a con, that's my favorite part. You want to get a sketch, get a sketch. You want to have someone sign your sketchbook, have them sign your sketchbook. You want to talk to them, you want to show them your portfolio, you can do that too. They have workshops. You have to pay a little extra for the workshops, but I mean, it's very limited seating, small rooms, and you get to talk to people that probably have influenced your life and your work greatly. And the panels are either these legends of animation that are talking about inspiration and talking about, you know, all these great stories, or they got panels of new upcoming movies that have already been out, talking about their process, talking about the here and now, about the future. And all you have to do to get into those is just wait in line for a little bit. You don't have to pay for it. You have to wait in line to go to the freaking Matterhorn, and the Matterhorn is not a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, no matter what anybody says. Oh, and let's not forget this guy.
I'm back.
Hello.
Remember him from the last review?
What are you proving?
I'm proving right now how you pronounce that word right there. Okay, say it.
Welcome.
One more time.
Welcome.
He taught us how to say Wacom. Swoon. And I am bound and determined to make this guy an international internet celebrity. So if you are watching this right now and you're going to the CTN Animation Expo 2013, you save a spot on your sketchbook for an autograph from Wacom Guy. So let's recap the tips from this year, shall we? Number 1, visit the website early and often. Number 2 is bring a notebook. You're going to want to write some notes down in that notebook. You're going to want to sketch something. Bring a notebook with you. Number 3 was to make a schedule. Not just know the schedule, but to make a schedule. And with the app that they had this year, it's much easier to make the schedule and revise it as you go along. Number 4 is a tip that I would recommend, but it does cost a little bit more money, which is VIP. You know, pay extra for the VIP pass. There is a chance that if a panel is popular enough and that fast pass line is long enough, not a lot of the regular line is going to get in to the actual panel. I think it's worth it. It's up to you to judge, but if you have the extra cash lying around, you know, check your couch cushions, but it's worth it, I think. And the last and final tip is to bring cash. And this one's obvious. I mean, it's just to buy stuff. Some people are technologically advanced and have those card swipers on their iPhones, but the rest of the exhibitors in that artist alley I was talking about, they're gonna need cash. Wow, the sun went down. So I guess that means we're done. I've talked long enough. The CTN Animation Expo is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it gives you once-in-a-lifetime opportunities every day. The panels that you see, the people that you talk with, the stories that you get, and the inspiration that fills you up and keeps you going for the rest of the year. Funny thing about it, it's still a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity even if it happens twice. If I go back next year and I see another talk with Glen Keane, I am going to be just as inspired. If I get to talk to Brenda Chapman, it's going to be just as big of an honor. That's what doing something that you love means. Why am I telling you right? I don't care if you go to the CTN Animation Expo, but I do. I do care. It's not about business. It's not necessarily about networking. It's about being around all these people who can connect with you on the same type of thing, who can connect to that strange thing in your brain that makes you look at life this way, that made you pursue a career that is visually so vibrant and so wonderful with storytelling, but which process is slower than a snail's ass. It's not just the organizers who do a great job, or the exhibitors who show awesome stuff, or the panelists who talk about great, inspiring things. It's also the people who go that make that expo what it is. So yeah, I want you to go. Everybody in my cutaways is packing up and putting away their stuff, and the sun's going down in beautiful Burbank, California, and the door's closing on this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity expo. But you know what? It's not! I got tons of stuff, man. I got interviews and pictures. You're gonna see what I saw for the rest of the year. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Follow the Expo on Twitter. Follow the Expo on Facebook. You're gonna get all the information you need. And I expect to see you next year, because I'm gonna take a picture of each and every one of you, and I'm gonna put it in next year's video review. Slideshow of the Insane. See you next year. Don't forget to subscribe, because subscribing is awesome and for winners.
I'm Michel Gagné, and I approve this message.
That's awesome. Cool, man.
Use this coupon code good for 10% off any 1-day or 3-day regular or student passport to the CTN Animation Expo 2013. And I'll see you there.